Settle down. Settle down. It's just me. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Hey guys, this is Wes Mullins. Coming to you from Nicholasville, Kentucky, as I am sitting out on my porch right now. That sounds so southern, doesn't it? Sitting out on my porch and about to make me up a pipe and sit here and talk to you guys for a minute about life and about apologetics and about Oxford. Those of you that listen to the podcast, those of you that follow me on Facebook, Instagram, those of you that are my friends in real life know and understand that I am going to Oxford University. And usually my wife says you say that with a pause because honestly I've become to get a little proud of that, and because it's a big deal. And now, honestly, they may let anyone in this program. I don't know. It may just be that you have to earn your way in. I mean, I did get into an Oxford University program. They weren't just handing them out, but I did get in. But sometimes when I say that to people, I catch myself going, hey, I'm a big deal. I'm going to Oxford. Almost glad I didn't go when I was younger because it probably would have been way worse. Walking up and saying, hey, how are you doing? I'm going to Oxford. But for those of you that don't know what Oxford is, or why it is actually a big deal, and my voice changed a little bit because I do have a pipe in my teeth. Here goes the lighter. Here it goes. Oh, yeah. There we go. So, what is the big deal about Oxford? Well, it was very interesting when Nina and I actually went there and we started looking around the colleges and seeing buildings that were built in like the 1300s. A cafe called Vaults and Gardens that was built in the 1300s. Literally. We're sitting in the same room these guys from the 14th century were sitting in. And it's transcendent in the sense, it's almost like crossing Brooklyn's Ferry with Walt Whitman in his Leaves of Grass poetry book, his book of poems. When he says, when you cross Brooklyn's Ferry, every person, every immigrant who crosses that has the exact same experience where they see Lady Liberty for the first time. And that shared experience transcends all of time and history. It's a shared moment that transcends that. Interestingly enough, he was an existentialist, which they don't believe in anything beyond us. But yet he had some sort of spiritual experience when he crossed on the Brooklyn Ferry. So you go to this university, right? And you see it was established in 1231. Now, as I'm walking around and I'm thinking about this 1231, and this was before the elections happened. This was before, we were in September. This is before the elections happened. And I'm walking around and I'm thinking, everything's in turmoil, it's topsy-turvy, it's upside down. And then I thought, how many wars, how many regime changes, how many bad things have happened in this world, and yet Oxford remains. And I'm walking down those streets, the same streets, not the exact same streets, but the same streetways. The buildings have been there that long that they've just repaved the road, the actual road itself, not the topping on the road, not the paving on the road, but the actual road itself. I'm walking down this road that people have walked for centuries, for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, walking the same road, going to the same buildings, going to the same classes. all striving to better themselves, to push themselves academically, to challenge themselves against the best of the best. And I keep thinking 1231, 1231, 12. It's a hard number to wrap your mind around. I mean, one of my favorite universities, University of Kentucky, 1865. That's the big deal. 1865, and you're like, 1865? That's when the new buildings were built at Oxford. They actually called them the new building, and it was built in the 1800s at Magdalen College. Some people might call it Magdalen College, because that's what it looks like, Lady Magdalen, and it's Magdalen College. But actually, it's called Magdalen in Cambridge, but in Oxford, it's called Magdalen College, and that's where C.S. Lewis was both I believe he was both a student and he taught there. No, for sure that he taught there. Their new building was built in the 1800s. The college that I will be going to, Wycliffe Hall, was built in the 1800s. Like 1832 is when it was established. And you're going, 1832 is when it was established. It's one of the newer colleges at Oxford University. And also this is very unique. It has to do specifically with Oxford. So when you go to the University of Kentucky, it's all about the university, and you have your colleges you go to, the College of Engineering, the College of this and that. You have your deans and your boards. It's not like that at Oxford. Oxford is more. The college is everything, and the college offers tons of stuff. So you might have science. There might be at Exeter and St. John's and Corpus Christi. And pay no attention to that. That's my cat trying to attack another cat through a glass door. But you have this where it's the prestige of the college. The college itself is the prestige. Oxford University is a culmination and a collaboration of these colleges. They merged together and formed together to have a unified body. But the unified body is not like it is on the University of Kentucky. It's different there because nobody goes around and say, well, I went to the College of Law at the University of Kentucky, and they're like, well, oh, you got your degree at Kentucky. Well, it's different at Oxford when you say, oh, I go to Exeter, or I go to New College, or I go to Merton. I'm just name dropping all these. I go to Wycliffe Hall. And so it's not that you got your degree from Oxford. No, it's you got a degree from St. John's. You got I say Corpus Christi earlier. I meant Christ Church. You got your degree from Christ Church. You got your degree from Merton. And so it's like you got the classics at Merton. It's very, very different how they do it over there. It's just very interesting. So that's one of the things. And I don't know if I've actually told you the story. And in this one, I might just tell you the story about kind of what happened. So Nina and I decided to do a vacation, the first vacation that we're doing as ourselves. Now, I know people are going, Nina and Wes and Nina, you guys have been to colleges all over, colleges. You guys have been to vacationing all over the world. Follow your Instagram feed, see your weddings. But what we actually mean is we went where there was no work. Usually when photographers go on vacation, they turn it into, hey, I'm going to be in this place. Does anybody want to do anything? I can help pay for my vacation if I do a few shoots. But what does that do to your vacation time? It always adds a little bit of stress to it. So we actually wanted to have a vacation where we didn't have the kids. It was just us. And then we were just going to go to Oxford and spend 3 days doing a C.S. Lewis tour, our own little C.S. Lewis tour. and just going to pubs and coffee shops and getting cream tea and cider. And so we just took our notebooks with us, we took our books with us, and we just read our books, took notes, and we had these great conversations. And my wife said, I'm also not going to do email while I'm here, because usually in a small business, email is the main thing that you deal with. It's your lifeblood, but it's also the thing that drains most of your time. And so I completely understand that. And so sorry about that. My pipe went out. Got it relit now. I mean, have to have a pipe, especially if you're going to Oxford. Although I will say that I was one of the few people I saw actually walking around Oxford smoking a pipe out on the trails. Felt the very English thing to do. You know, we should smoke a pipe. It's really the English thing to do. So, Nina and I are on, I think we're on Banbury Road, which is near where the college that I'll be going to. I think we just stopped by and talked to them. And this Ravi Zacharias RZIM program, they used to have a 2-week intensive during the summer, and you would go to Oxford and spend 2 weeks, and I was like, this would be amazing. Just go spend 2 weeks with these guys, just go over there and just see if I've got it, and if I'm doing well in the apologetic stuff, to see, you know, get the expert's opinion on my stuff, and get some kind of peer review. That would be just amazing, and learn what I can from these guys. And it was they're like, oh, we no longer do the year program, and I was like, oh man. They said we no longer do the 2-week program. We only offer the year program. And I was like, oh, you only offer the year program? Well, that's done. That's over with. Okay. My tiny dream, my great magic dream of being there for 2 weeks was completely dashed. And she's like, but you know what? You should apply. You never know, you might get a scholarship. She goes, now the only problem is you actually have to get into Oxford. So the RZIM program, the 2-week program, all I have to do is get into Ravi's program, in which you can get in, and you pay the money, you can probably get in. I don't know what all the stipulations are. They might not just let anybody in, but because they have limited space, but they'll let most people in, I would say. So, just apply. And Nina had already told me, so about 6 months before this, I'd come across this OCCA program, the Oxford Center for Christian Apologetics. I'd already come across it. And then coming across it, I was like, I can't do this. And Nina, a few months later, said, hey, have you looked at this? I said, yeah, I can't do that. So we're there, and she goes, you might as well apply. You might as well apply. So as we're walking away from Banbury Road, in this time or another, we're walking back, and I have this thought just pop up in my head. And it was, we could move to Oxford. And I just look over at Nina, and about 15 seconds later, she turns to me and says, I think we could move. I think I could move here. I think we could move here. And I was like, what? So we were in sync, and everything just kind of fell in place from there. So I applied. I did my 2 interviews, my interview with Oxford, I did my interview with OCCA. I passed both of those, and they offered me the position. They offered me the position to be a paying student. Everything's just gone from there. So that's the short version of how I got to be at the position that I am right now. And again, there goes my cat, busting into the podcast, making all kinds of ruckus for me. So I'm going to spend the rest of my time out here on the deck, on the porch, if you will, just listening to the sounds of nature. Thanks, guys. Thanks for stopping by. And I'll get it right here in a minute. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you next time right here on Unabashedly Resolute, Everyday Apologetics, a Good Warfare Broadcast Communications Network.